before we start this video, I would like to mention that next weekend I will be starting work on a new car that's coming to the channel. Now, it's going to be good for the viewers that I've already got. I will be basically bringing back to life a car that's been sat for many years. We're going to drag it out of where it is. I've got a new starter motor coming, so we're going to fit a new starter motor. It's going to need a lot of new bits and bobs because it's been sat. It's going to need cleaning. It's absolutely minging inside. There's mold all over the steering wheel. But yeah, next week I will be starting that series on that car, and it will be for sale at the end. Obviously, keep your bell icon hit, and when I post, you will be notified. And if you want to buy it when it's done, yeah, hit me up. You join me in Vw Scirocco, where today I'm going to talk about 5 things that I like about this car. And yes, I do actually like some things about this car. I do take the piss out of her a lot, but I do like some stuff. So I'm going to run through the 5 things I like, and like 5 things why I think it would be a good purchase for somebody. So we'll get started now. We'll crack on with number 1. Number 1 is basically the driving position. Now, I said this in the Audi as well, like the driving position in the VW range cars is really, really good, like the adjustability. But I find this a lot nicer than the Audi, to be honest, I can't lie. Sitting in the seat, I got a lot of room. The bolsters are really good, and my back's quite wide, I'm not going to brag. It's quite wide, and in the Audi seats, I'm a bit... She's laughing at me, look. In the Audi, it's a bit tight on the seats, but here they got a lot more room and I feel really comfy. We got the armrest just down here, which is massive. It's in a perfect position as well to rest. And on this side we got this, so literally got arm on both things. I got shitloads of leg room down here, so that's another good point. The arm length from where I am to the steering is just perfect. I could drive this car for hours and I'll be very, very comfortable, whereas other cars, like the Focus, when I had the Focus, I found that was the seating position was very high and you couldn't really adjust it. I know I put bucket seats in it, but that actually made it a bit lower. The seating position in this is perfect. Yeah, so if you're 6 foot or more like me, this car's perfect for you. It feels absolutely massive in the cabin, and you just got a lot of room, which is really good. Armrests are perfect position. The armrest is massive, to be honest, but it's in a really good position, and it's quite adjustable to where you want it. Obviously, if you're taller, you have it higher. Perfect. Yeah, so that is number 1, the driving position. Number 2 being the boost gauge and the oil temp gauge in this car. So nowadays you do not get oil temps and like boost gauges in cars. Like, this type of setup's quite rare. You don't see them in many cars, and like, well, a lot of cars don't even have a fucking coolant temp, which obviously this has got it all. But just having these extra bits on here, it's just more peace of mind for you that you can keep an eye on the oil temperature. Obviously, as soon as you see it creeping on there, it's in such a good position to see. So as soon as you see it creeping, you know you're going up, so you gotta pull over. Boost gauge, you can keep an eye on how the turbo is performing. Obviously, if you know where it normally boosts, if you see it's not performing right and the boost gauge is lower than it should be, you know you got a problem, which is always a good idea. And it's to me, it's more like a safe feature. But yeah, I really like how big they are as well. They stand out. So yeah, that's number 2, guys. That is the boost gauge and the oil temp gauge, which is very rare on cars. Or anyway, like even the older cars never really had that. The Focus had it. That's the only one I really know. Right, so we'll move on to the back seats now. So in this car, we literally have 2 back seats. And again, very supportive seats. You don't see seats like this in the back normally. Like, they're pretty sporty looking seat, especially with their headrest. Obviously, you can only carry 4 passengers in this car, but it don't really matter. Like, you don't want to fit 3 people in the back of here because it would be tight, because the back end's a bit thinner than the front. But as for seating, it's very comfy. I've sat in the back of this and it's really comfortable. Yeah, back seats, recommend them. So that is number 3, guys. Number 4 is the way this car drives. So the car's now on 93,000 miles, but it still drives really nice. It's got the odd little rattle here and there, but you could expect that for the mileage. It just could be like loose plastics. I think the back's making a rattle on the shocks where the plastic bit is. I think that's rattling, but it's really smooth. It's a really smooth drive, this car. I must bang on about how good the steering feel is. Nowadays, everything in cars is just so assisted. Everything just feels so light and easy. Like the Audi, like I've mentioned in that's just really assisted. But it takes away the feel of the car. Like when you're driving it, like I know this ain't the fastest of things, it's a 1.4 turbo, but it's not bad. It goes well, and the steering feels so good. Genuinely wish I had the steering out of this in the Audi. It would have been so much better. But obviously, we can't have everything we want. So the overall driving experience, the brakes are brilliant. It accelerates, obviously 1.4 turbo. It goes all right for the 1.4. Like, I can't lie. So it drives nice. It's smooth. Even though I've lowered it, it's still really smooth. And like the gear changes are nice. everything just feels nice, even for like 93,000 miles. The handbrake still feels strong. Everything still works in here. So everything in here still works after 95,000 miles. Or 93,000 miles, sorry. So yeah, overall, the quality in here, the build quality, the way it feels is really good. So now you join me on the outside of the car where we'll talk about number 5. But first of all, I'll show you how this car looks since I've lowered it and put wheel spacers on it. Now, it did say 40mm, but this ain't 40mm. So obviously we lowered the car. That's definitely not 40mm drop. I did message the company, but they have not got back to me. They totally ignored me. But obviously it is a bit lower and the wheels stick out a lot more, which is what you want. Right, so obviously I'm just ducking in the boot to get out the wind so there's no wind noise. I'll bring you to the boot. The boot in this is so deep. I'll show you what I mean. So obviously you open the hatch is quite high, and then you've literally got all this room. Like, look how far down it goes. There's just so much room in here. Obviously the seats fly forward, you can have more room, but this is a really deep boot. You can fit a lot of luggage in the back of here. You're shopping easily. I don't know, it's just so deep. I think it's because the back end's so big. As you can see, the back end's like wide and high. And then you've got this nice deep boot in the back. I wouldn't want to change that rear bumper though, because I bet that's very expensive. Yeah, so number 5 is basically how this car looks from outside. So obviously it's quite an aggressive looking front end. You don't get a lot of cars with gloss black features on. They normally come with this plastic shit here. Like it has here, but we can change all that. But it's got gloss black there, which is nice. We changed the badges to make it obviously blend in. The overall look of this car is really good. I'd say the wheels are the only thing that lets it down. I do not like the wheels. But everything's big and bulky on this car. So we got big massive mirrors, which are obviously good for view. Door handles are pretty big. We've got this tiny little fuel flaps, which it seems out of proportion to this whole area is massive, and then you've got this tiny little fuel cap. And then you come to the back end and it's just so wide. From the back this car looks really nice, I can't lie. So the back's wide, this bit's like really fat, and then this, obviously where the window is really like thin, and it makes the car look low, but it looks great. Like from where I'm sitting now, the rear end of a Scirocco is beautiful, I can't lie. So even coming down to the bottom here where the skirt is, obviously we got this like the door and the rear quarter comes down, it like bows out, and you can really notice that when you open the door. So when you open the door, obviously you got these massive like sills that stick out. Just shows how fat this car is really. Coming on to more about everything that's chunky, even these rubbers, everything's just so chunky on this car. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Obviously it's all good. That's the way the car's designed, to be chunky. That's number 5. I really like how like fat and chunky this car is. There's 5 things, well there was technically 6 in there, but there's 5 things / 6 about like things I like about this car, and 5 recommendations why you should buy it. Now I'll give you one more, which I did with the Audi, is a bonus one. Now this being, if you're looking for the Scirocco, I do 100% recommend the 1.4 TSI, because this car, no word of a lie, is unreal on fuel. Now she drives 200 miles to me and she uses about a quarter of a tank. Now for a petrol car, 1.4 with a turbo, I think that's amazing. This car is really economical. Yeah, so number 6, the bonus one, how economical this car is. If you want a practical, a well-driving, comfortable to drive car, you know, it's not too bad to maintain. I don't think well, we haven't done anything else. We've done service it and I've lowered it. That's all we've done to it, and nothing's really gone wrong, touch wood. Where is it? Touch wood. Yeah, this is a really good car, so I highly recommend the VW Scirocco, especially the 1.4 TSI. If you've enjoyed this video, guys, please hit the like button. I will be doing 5 things I dislike, because there is some stuff I dislike. I'm looking at one right now, but I'm not going to give it away in this video. I will do it in another video. And yeah, please, if you're new here, hit the subscribe button. I have noticed a lot of people are watching my YouTube channel, like compared to my subscribed and non-subscribed, and there's a big difference between non-subscribed. So if you're not subscribed, please smash the subscribe button. It would really help me out and grow the channel and give me more opportunities. Yeah, so guys, please like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace.